Good morning and welcome to the Spiritual Wisdom channel. Today we're going to be reading from Rumi, and I have a lovely poem of his ready for you right now. It's called Not a Day on My Calendar. Not a day on any calendar, actually. um, Today's a wonderful day, and I want to welcome you to just an incredible year ahead and a wonderful day for yourself. I know that we've all been struggling in so many ways, and we've all been having extremely difficult times. And it's time that we seek inspiration and wisdom to help guide us through these difficult and trying times. So I hope that we can provide that here for you, and that you will be able to. My intention is for you to be able to go through, to hear this, and come out on the other side feeling absolutely inspired. Sometimes it takes a little shaking up, it takes a little waking up to be able to get there. So hang in there and we'll find some incredible stuff. Rumi is an incredible poet. And if you haven't read his work, this is going to be a great way for you to get into it. It is a way to understand spirituality and deep truths and wisdom through poetry. It's an incredible way of doing it. So let's take a look at what he has to say. Spring and everything outside is growing, even the tall cypress tree. We must not leave this place. We must not leave this place. Around the lip of the cup, we share these words. My life is not mine. Let's take a moment to contemplate those words. My life is not mine. Everything is happening in our lives, right? We were born at a certain time. We have this body, but neither I nor you nor our parents actually created this body, right? It happened when two people made love, and then the body formed within the womb. And yet we say, this is my child. We say, this is my body. But is it really? Or did it form miraculously? And though our science has tried to explain what that miracle is and has tried to probe and look into it and try to give us some understanding of what that miracle is, we really don't know how that all got set into motion once upon a time. We say it's through evolution, we say it's through all of these processes, but do we really know? Were we there? Did we see? Do we really have tangible evidence, or are we speculating? The reality is, and this is how I see it, and I think Rumi sees it here as well, is that neither this body is mine, nor this mind is mine, nor this life is mine. It's an accumulation of all that I have learned in the course of this life. My body is an accumulation of all that I have eaten and done, right? Like whatever shape it's in is about how I lived my life. If I had a stagnant life sitting in front of sitting on a couch, then I would have a certain kind of body. Or if I had certain genetics, I would have a certain kind of body. Or if I ate certain kinds of foods, then it would have affected how I ended up looking, what I did with it. It's an accumulation in many ways. And likewise with my mind, it's an accumulation. It's a sponge. It's been taking in stuff from the moment I was born, trying to figure out who am I and trying to figure out what is this world. But is it really mine? Is it truly, authentically me? Do I think my thoughts, or do I think the thoughts of the world? Do I think what I've been told to think? Now, there are many people who went around last year bandishing this word sheeple. I think you all came across this one too. And it was used as a derogatory term to tell some people that they were followers and sheep. And I'd beg to differ. For all those people, I'd like to say there isn't a single one amongst us, not a single one amongst us, that is not the sheeple. Do not point the finger at someone when you yourself are in the same boat. What do I mean by that? We have all been socialized in certain ways. We've all been programmed to behave in certain ways. If, for example, you get offended when someone eats with their hands, like they do in some parts of the world, and you're offended by that, then you have been programmed to eat a certain way. If you drive on a certain side of the road, then you have been programmed to drive on that side of the road, socially conditioned, whichever word you want to use. But the point is, your life is not yours. The government takes a claim of everything that you work for. They tax you on the house that you own. In every way, you claim your life is yours, but is it really? Your life belongs to your partner, your spouse. They take your time, your children, your work, your job. So when Rumi says here, my life is not mine, there is wisdom in it. It's a truth we must face. Because only when we face it will we begin to emerge truly independent and free, which is what we want. We want to be our own person. We want to be authentic. We want to be real. But to do that, we must first recognize that we're not. And definitely don't be judging others who are conditioned and locked into a particular paradigm. That will never serve us. So he says, spring and everything outside is growing, even the tall cypress tree. In nature, everything is growing, everything is emerging, right? Everything is evolving. So are we. How we're going to shape our lives, how we're going to emerge, how we're going to evolve is going to depend upon every single moment that we live our lives. So the question you're really going to have to ask yourself is to really watch, how am I living? Am I really living, or am I just on some kind of a robotic um, sort of treadmill, which I'm just doing every single day in terms of routines, in terms of habits, in terms of, or am I really stopping to watch my thoughts, to watch my emotions, to watch how it is I live, and making choices about that? Oh, I don't wish to have this thought. Oh, I don't wish to have that emotion. I need to work my way back to a different thought. Because when I choose a different thought, I'm in a place of choice. And choice is the place of where will begins to happen. See, will is a very powerful thing. We will our hand to move, or our feet, or our eyes, or our words to happen. But before that will happens, there is choice. And you are free to choose anything. Real freedom, when you say my life is mine, is when you have fully exercised the choice of every single moment to live it the way you want, the way that is true to you. And true to you is not a question of your conditioning, it is a question of first finding your true self and then how it wants to live. You see, we're conditioned beings. To become unconditioned, or at least to be able to touch the part of us that is the soul, the essence, that is never conditioned, and then to begin to live from there needs to be the goal of our life. So Rumi continues, if someone were to play music, it would have to be very sweet. We're drinking wine, but not through lips. We're sleeping it off, but not in bed. Rub the cup across your forehead. This day is outside, living and dying. There is a madness and an intoxication here in Rumi's words. We're drinking wine, but not through lips. How do you do that? How do you drink wine, but not through lips? He gives the hint to that earlier. If someone were to play music, it would have to be very sweet. So we are drinking through our ears. We're sleeping it off. Like how people, when they get drunk, they sleep it off, but not in bed. Rub the cup across your forehead. This day is outside, living and dying. This day is here. This day is a gift. This day is momentous. This day shall never return. This moment, this second shall never return. This day is for living and dying. Every moment this day shall die, and every moment we shall be alive again. Every moment. Every moment is a gift of life. With every breath you take in is a gift of life, and with every breath you take out is a death. Contemplate that. With every moment I breathe out, I die. With every moment I breathe in, I am alive again. Born, resurrected, awakened, alive. This is what life is. Give up wanting what other people have. Give up wanting what other people have. That way you're safe. Where can I be safe? Where can I be safe, you ask? This is not a day for asking questions, not a day on any calendar. This day is conscious of itself. This day is conscious of itself. So, how do you get to that place where this day is conscious of itself, where everything is so alive and vibrant that we are living life fully? Rumi gives the hint right in a few lines before this. Give up wanting what other people have. Give up wanting what other people have. All of desire is wanting what other people have. And when we desire that which other people have, I want that car, I want that house, I want that partner, I want what you have, then I have walked into a trap. From here on, I shall think, I shall contemplate that. I shall long for that. I shall work for that. I shall devote my life to getting that. But in the end, I will find that it didn't make me happy. It didn't fulfill me. So Rumi is giving us a very different perspective on life. And he's saying, this day is outside, living and dying. Learn to live. Learn to live. Not so that you can have what other people have, not to fulfill your desires, not to try to be something and achieve something and have something and do something. But living is the end of life itself. Let me explain. People ask me, what is the goal of life? So it sounds like such a profound question, doesn't it? And don't we all have that question? And I've had it myself for years as well. I struggled with that. I like, why am I here? What's this all about? And even as a kid, it was like I was 13, 14. I remember asking these questions. Why am I here? What is this life? You know, if we're going to die and leave this all behind, why would I want to work so hard like everybody else? So it became a quest almost to try to figure this out. And the answer was very simple. It's right here. The goal of life is not to be or have or do. The goal of life is life itself, is to live fully. Well, how do you live fully? By experiencing everything that's coming your way. Oh, but there are some things I don't like that are coming my way. Sometimes it's too hot, sometimes it's too cold, sometimes it's unpleasant, sometimes somebody says something bad. Sometimes there's a traffic jam and sometimes it's raining, and I don't want that. You see, we have to evolve away from being children. Children want what they want. They want that candy, they want that candy, they want that candy. They will throw a fit, they will cry, they will scream, they will yell until they get it, right? At least a lot of kids get to be like that, perhaps because their parents keep indulging them, but whatever, I'm not going to get into that. The point being, we are like that. Instead of enjoying whatever is, in front of us, whether it is so called good or bad, whether it is so called what we want or don't want. Instead of enjoying everything, we want things to be on our terms. And when you want things to be on your terms, you are trying to control the universe. You're trying to control life. You're trying to control the way things are. You're trying to make them different than they are, and therefore you suffer and struggle and spend your whole life doing that. So then you might ask the opposite question. Well, if I simply accept things as they are, and if I enjoy things as they are, then there'll be no progress. I will never get my house cleaned. I will never wash my laundry because it just is what it is. I'll just kind of like, it'll be there. So, yes, we're not trying to create polar understandings, not either this or that. It is to enjoy every moment. And when the laundry piles up, then it piles up. You just deal with it. When the dishes pile up, they deal with it. When the house gets dirty, you deal with it. But that's not the goal of your life. That's not why you're here. You take every moment as it comes and as it unfolds, and you experience it. So it's not about good or bad. It's not about doing or not doing. It's not about right or wrong. It's not about what I want or what I don't want, but it's like taking every experience and maximizing it. How can I make that laundry washing into a dance and something beautiful? How can I take that ordinary mundane thing that I'm doing, that washing dishes, and make that into something spectacular, where I'm deeply diving into it and losing track of time, and where nothing matters when I'm in there, in that zone? Can I do this with everything? Runners do it when they're running. People, when they make love, they're in there. Can you do it with everything? That's my challenge to you. Take everything and make it spectacular. Everything you do. Rumi continues, this is not a day for asking questions, not a day on any calendar. This day is conscious of itself. This day is a lover, bread and gentleness, more manifest than saying can say. Thoughts take form with words, but this daylight is beyond and before thinking and imagining. I have a lovely question here. At one point, we have to make decisions how to know what is the best way. Making decisions, and by the way, thank you for asking questions. I love that you participate. I love to hear from you. So feel free. This is your place, your space. And I want it to be something where you gain as much as you can. So yes, what do we do with decisions? So firstly, we're talking about living. And yes, then there are choices to be made. So living is always a choice. Remember, choose whatever decision you're making. Firstly, I'm not in a position to tell you what's the right decision to make, but decisions are best made with clarity. And clarity comes when you're not attached to one point of view or another. So I remember the times when I had to go and buy something, especially something expensive like a car. And then which one do I choose? And then my emotions would get involved. And when my emotions were involved, I wasn't thinking clearly anymore. Well, I like this one because it looked a certain way and because it had a certain thing. It was emotionally driven. And I wasn't looking at the true features, or nor was I looking at the price and how they were kind of ripping me off. So my thinking was not very clear. But when your emotion is free from what you want and desire, when you can be objective, when you are like that clear glass of water, then you will make wise decisions. When you are not attached to one thing or another, to one outcome or another, you will make clear decisions. Keep that in mind. I have another lovely question. The drinking of the wine is making me think. Thought, our experiences, we make our own wine, drink of our own wine, and share it with others. We won't be to everyone's taste. So true. So very true. We will never be to everyone's taste. What I speak here today is not to everyone's taste. What you enjoy is not to everyone's taste. Who you are is not to everyone's liking. And so I love that we are unique, uniquely our own wine. You are the wine that you are seeking, and you need to take that wine and deepen it and make it richer and more sensuous and more vibrant and more alive. And then Those who come to drink of this wine will be intoxicated by your presence. Let it be so. Take this wine and make it rich. Wine here, the metaphor is for your energy, for your presence, for your soul, for your essence. Make that profound. That is what you are here to do in this world, to take that which you have received. He says, "This is life is not mine, so it was given to me. It is a gift. Let me take what I have been given, instead of trying to struggle to survive, which is just what at the mundane level. Let me take what I've been given and make it exquisite. That is, let me take this incredible work of art that this already is. Let me take this perfection that this already is and make it even more exquisite." Right? How do I do that? I find the part of me that is the most profound and wise and deep and spiritual part of me, and I bring it forth. And then I savor it, and I inhale it and drink it like I would a glass of wine. The metaphor of wine is about getting us, that the Sufis use, is about getting us to understand that spirit meaning your soul, your energy, your true self, is like wine, is intoxicating like wine without the addiction. Oh, well, maybe there is the addiction too, but without the side effects or the hangover, without the feelings of losing control, because now you are in control of the most important thing that one must control, and that is the mind. To be able to access that soul, the mind must be in control. We cannot control the world, but if you can control your mind, you are a master. You are a master because now you have gained the keys to spirit world. All right, let's continue with Rumi. Rumi then goes on to say, the rest of this poem is too blurry. Sorry, I'll go back one. Thoughts take form with words. Thoughts take form with words. We give our thoughts form with words. But this daylight is beyond and before thinking and imagining. So he's saying that there is an illumination, and you could look at it from the metaphor of daylight, is beyond and before thinking and imagining. So before you began to think, before you began to imagine, before you began to feel, there was already nature, and nature was already doing its thing. The trees were growing, the sun was rising, right? Daylight was happening. They were not dependent upon your thoughts or your imagination or your desire or your emotion. They already were. Find that thing that exists beyond thought, beyond emotion, beyond everything that you know, beyond the known, the world beyond the known. And to find it, that journey will take you home back into yourself. This existed even before you were born. You existed even before you were born. Find that, find you. That you which did not change with the passing of time. That you which has been you ever since before you were born and after you were born, and when you were a baby, and when you were an infant, and when you were a toddler, when you were a teenager, and now the person who you are. That being, that essence, that you exists beyond time. That you is what you enter into when you become, or rather, when you fall in love. That you is what emerges when you are in a state of timelessness, when you are in meditation, when you make love, when you are with someone who you deeply resonate with, when you are in nature. That you emerges. Let it emerge more and more and more and more, just like the rising sun of the early morning emerges a little at a time. Don't expect it to happen all in one go, because it will not. It will happen gradually. It will happen as you become, and you may say, well, Isn't it hard? Isn't it difficult? And the truth is, that's your mind telling you that it's hard and it's difficult. It's not difficult to get drunk. You have to keep drinking, right? Now, I'm not talking about getting drunk on alcohol here. I am talking about getting drunk on your soul, on your energy, on your essence. Get drunk on it by drinking of it, by inhaling it, by connecting with it, and feeling it and experiencing it and becoming one with it, becoming intoxicated by it. It is truly the place of joy. It is truly the place that we've been looking for. If you have ever desired anything in your life, behind that desire would have been the desire to be happy. You thought you could be happy by having the things other people had. That sure didn't work out. Not for any of us, I think. Not for me, certainly. I tried. I'll tell you that. I tried. I tried to be like other people. I tried to be successful, as they call it, or, have the things that you're supposed to have that show that you've arrived. Nah, didn't happen. Didn't happen. I never felt successful. I never felt happy. And nobody thought I was either. I had to be something multimillionaire, billionaire, whatever the heck it was, and only a few people, 1%, as they say, get there. Well, I wasn't that 1%. And finally, I realized the real wealth was hidden within me all along. It was here. I didn't have to go out there. I didn't have to prove myself. I didn't have to establish my worth. I didn't have to do any damn thing. This, I was the wealth I was looking for. I was the abundance I needed. I was the happiness that I desired. I was the one that I had been seeking in all my relationships and in all my endeavors. And when I finally came home, I realized everything else is here to play with. The world is my playground. I invite you to this experience. The world is your playground. Yes, when you're here, it doesn't mean you stop living. It doesn't mean you stop doing. It doesn't mean that you're going to somehow go into a monastery or something else and get all serious about life. Please, a lot of people have tried that path. I tried that path. For God's sake, I became a monk at the age of 20, left everything behind, shaved my head, did the whole bit. But it didn't work. It didn't bring me any greater joy. It was nice to get up early in the morning. It was nice to have a regulated life. It was nice to have a clean shaven head, which felt like I'm like buzzing or something out there, but it wasn't real. It didn't take away desire. It didn't make my mind quiet. It um, didn't make me happier. That came by being in the world and not affected by it. To some degree, we can get there. You'll get there to the degree that you become attached to the real you. The degree you become attached to the real you, you have now found what you've always wanted and were looking for. When you find that, and the more you become attached to that, the more you will find yourself stepping away from any attachment to the world. It is a process of letting go by becoming more and more and more attached. Detachment comes from attachment. Detachment from the outer world comes by attachment to the inner world. So they follow each other. It's not just that you become detached from the outer world. It's not just that you give up desire. It's not just that you somehow become this, monk-like character, serious and wise and whatnot. No, be a dancing character, be a loving character, be a person who is drunk on life, not through alcohol or drugs. No, 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 no. But on the energy of life, on the opportunity of life, on the possibility of life. Every experience you have is a possibility. Whether it's good or bad doesn't matter. It's a possibility to experience. And that experience is what matters. Good is no better than bad. Right is no better than wrong. Nice is not better than Or comfortable is not better than uncomfortable. No, they are all important. Discomfort is as important as comfort. When you recognize this, that from each thing I can extract beauty, from each thing I can extract wisdom, from each thing I can extract a world of experience that will enrich me, then you have arrived. You have arrived. You have gained mastery over yourself. That is what is required. Ah, Sky, thank you. By moving towards our soul's calling, not our physical cravings. Yes. Our soul's calling must be first. Remember, your soul is calling. In everything that you do, your soul is calling. Let's say that you're working hard to pay the bills. What is that? Survival. What is survival? Your soul is calling from behind, telling you that you will not perish. You will always survive. You're not hearing the message, so you're going out there and trying to survive without realizing that you are an imperishable being. The struggle for survival is meaningless. Christ said in the Bible, you see the birds and the trees, they neither sow, neither do they reap into barns, yet your heavenly Father provided for them. Are you not much better than they? So, what he's saying is everything in nature is taken care of. You too have been taken care of. Everything has been provided for you here. I'm not saying you don't need to work. Again, don't hear me black and white, okay? Because then you'll get lost. It is that you don't need to put that much attention into it. You don't need to make that the goal of your life. You don't need to make that everything and that into all that matters. You need to have your vision for something bigger, right? Let's say, for example, you want to get from here to this beautiful resort up in the mountains, right? Let's call that resort A, all right? And to get to the resort, you need to get to the gas station to put in gas. Okay. But our goal cannot be going to the gas station. That's not the goal. The goal is to get to the resort. Gas is only something you need to get there. It's a medium. It's a means to an end. Similarly, survival is a means to an end. When you think only of your survival, when you think only of getting a house, getting a partner, having a life, you're still stuck at the means. You're still stuck at the gas station. There's a resort waiting for you to enjoy great comfort and wonderful things. And that's what you've been longing for. That has been the longing of the soul. You got stuck in the middle, the gas station of life. Yeah, it's important to realize we've been wanting more and our soul is hungry and craving, but we're getting lost here. So the purpose of this channel of spiritual wisdom here, spiritual wisdom channel is what I'm calling it from this year on, is to bring that insight, to bring that wisdom to us and for us to share and for us to discuss. And I'd love to hear from you, your thoughts, your opinions. You'll find me on Instagram at rohitjuneja.us. You can go to my website, rohitjuneja.com. I'm also on YouTube. Search for me there. Or if you just like to read, then look up lovingsoulfully.com. That's my book, Loving Soulfully, and you'll find it at lovingsoulfully.com. I look forward to staying connected with you. And I wish you a wonderful, blessed, incredible day. Keep joining me. I'm reading from the works of Rumi every Monday at 9:30 a.m. I'm also reading from the Bhagavad Gita, which is an ancient spiritual text from India and contains profound spiritual wisdom. And I'd love to have you join me there. I do that live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. But also you'll find recordings of that on my YouTube channel. Look forward to seeing you again. Have a wonderful and blessed day. Thank you.